Welcome back to my channel. I am so happy to be broadcasting live from a place that's not a hospital. The last month was a whole situation and ordeal, and as soon as I'm back on camera with my face to your face, I promise we will discuss it. We'll do a live, and you guys can ask any question you want to, and I will answer to the best of my ability. But today's video, for those of you that are new here, is really about the narcissist trying to make you the third party, okay? And I wanted to talk about it because I have some information from a video from the Narcissist Chronicles, which is a YouTube channel here run by Jesse, who really does coaching. For those of you that have a father wound or have father issues, it's very healing, especially if you were abused by a masculine narcissist, whether they were in a feminine body or not, male or female. If they have masculine energy and that was the abuse that you dealt with, he's very healing. I've recommended him before. Also, Professor Sam Venkin, Dr. Sam Venkin, has written and talked about extensively this very thing. His videos are more in depth and more cerebral, of course. Enter at your own risk. It's fantastic information. I eat it up. However, I believe that Jesse's video would be really beneficial for a lot of you. That's what I intuit. I will see if I can connect it. Since this is a live, I have to wait for this to upload and all that jazz. So I will connect the video where he does specifically talk about this. Now, the reason this came to mind for me is not only because I experienced it, but because when I was working with a client yesterday, this came up, and I with moon water, every bit of. Oh, sorry, I think I may have cut out. Thank you for every prayer, every bowl of moon water, every candle, help, and doctors and nurses, an incredible medical team, and insurance. We're having some weird connection issues. So those of you that are my day one subscribers, I just wanted to put that out there. Back to this. A narcissist will always try to make you a third party. I'll be quick because I have a client coming up here shortly. So what they will do is if you are the established primary person in the relationship, when they're grooming the new supply, that person's getting the attention and it's a very sparkly situation. What my client said to me yesterday, which reminded me of my situation, but it was very specific to her, was that her husband was her husband, and then she had all the intuitions that we have, that he was stepping out and doing all of the things that he was doing, and he denied it, and then finally he admitted it to her. But this is how he gave it to her when he finally months later admitted it to her. They were laying in bed, she said, and he said, everything you've thought about this girl is right. It is the girl you thought it was. Yes, I have been having an affair, but here's what I want to do for you. This very used car salesman, schmaltzy energy. He said, here's what I want to do for you. We're really looking for a third partner. We'd like to bring another woman into our relationship, and I'd really like to make that be you. So that way you can be involved in our relationship. Now, this person who had a husband is having her husband look into the whites of her eyes and tell her that I'd like to offer you the opportunity to be the third party or the mistress or the person I'm having an affair with, when he was in fact having an affair with the mistress. He's swapped positions, as narcissists will do, and made the mistress the primary person of concern and care, and he was very concerned about her feelings and couldn't release her because he didn't want to hurt her, and the reason he said was because she hasn't done anything yet, which is a very amazing snapshot into a narcissist's brain. They are waiting and calculating for someone to do something for it to be punished. That's another video for another day. But he was waiting. She hadn't done anything yet. So the woman that I was counseling said to me I was enraged and I kicked him out of my house, but she's still emotionally attached, and we've all been there. And that's what my work with her will be about, is getting her through that part of it so that she can white knuckle and then get out of the white knuckle stage to where she feels the freedom and the release that always comes once you divorce yourself from narcissistic energy. But that's a very tricky mind game they play. You see that? You are now my third party. That's what they want you to do. In my experience, it was very much the same. A primary established friendship of 20 years. You guys have heard me talk about it. She wanted to turn me into the ancillary piece, the person that she kept secrets from, the person that she played mind games with, when that was not how it had been. But I was then to be her third party, and she was doing me a favor. She said as much. Narcissists, when they're at the height of the mask off situation and position, are very brazen and honest. She told me, I'm just doing this to be nice to you. Now, ours was a friendship dynamic, not necessarily a romantic one. However, there were undertones and confusions because narcissists love that too. But when I was thinking of my client, I thought, Unbelievable. They do not change their script. No narcissist gets creative and comes up with a new thing. They love to try to make you the third party. Don't let them. Her pride and her dignity kicked in and she did what had to be done. That doesn't mean that she's still not in the addiction of the narcissist or whatever. And she asked me a question that some of you may wonder about that are stumbled upon this video, probably because you've been in this situation. She said, "How long is it going to be?" She was getting a reading, right? But my readings sometimes turn into counseling and therapy, as many of you guys that I've got to work with know. And so she said, "How long is it going to be before he leaves her?" She wanted a prediction. And I gave her the honest truth, which had nothing to do with the cards or oracles in front of me or my pendulum or my magical crystals. It was the truth because of experience, because of counseling women and men like you that have been through this, because of counseling myself through this situation. He'll be with her until he gets the karmic lesson, until they do bring in a third party. And she told me that one of her friends said that she found him on Tinder and that him and the new partner the new supply, were looking for a third to bring into the relationship. That's a whole nother video about succubus energy, Jezebel spirits, and the fact that when the new supply is there being vetted, they're giving a lot of their power away because they want to be seen as better. So of course she's sparkly new. She's going to allow me to do this thing that maybe the wife would not allow to be done, and the wife would not allow to do. So that's the energy of that. And so when he said to her, when he said to her, when the friend said, I saw that they're looking for a third, what I had predicted was this, is that they will bring in that third. And the wife or the new supply will fall in love with that third and then offer him the same bargain basement deal he offered his wife, which is, "I'd like to offer you the chance to be our third party, but this is going to be our relationship." Not everything works out that cleanly, but that's what I felt my angels were directing to instruct to her, because I felt like that there was truth in that, and that was going to be the way it was. Because what she will be, the client that I worked with, is the karma for her narcissist, meaning she will eventually wean herself, walk away, get healthy, form new relationships that are really about her. She will learn the lesson of self love, which is any encounter with a narcissist empath is here to teach us about self love, self acceptance, and self empowerment. She will learn all of those lessons, but she's in the infancy stage of it. And it's beautiful because I get to walk her through this, but I also get to, it's cathartic. I get to look back at my situation. I'm out of all of those painful places. I'm at the point of apathy. I could care less about that situation other than it's a wonderful teaching opportunity for me and for you. But for those of you that are in the thick of it still, then that's what you need to understand. You can't wish and pray for the relationship with the new supply to break apart, because it has to go through its stages. And that person may be a karmic soulmate to them to teach them a painful lesson in a roundabout way, like I predicted would happen with my client and the supply and his new person and the new third that they're going to bring in. The thing about it is to understand is that we don't always get the outcome immediately. You have to be okay with delayed gratification. Gratification, you say, Monette? Yes. For that woman that is watching this because she feels so betrayed, she's waiting for gratification that he gets pain too. The beautiful thing about that is that's something that we get to attach to. But in the interim, we're doing all this growth and learning. By the time the gratification comes, you no longer are as invested as you once were. I was very invested at the initial part of my betrayal when I finally could take the mask off and say to the narcissist, "I see who you are. I know how disgusting you are. I know what a lowlife you are." And I was highly invested in the quote unquote karma and revenge that would happen. But then I healed and I no longer care. She is her own worst karma. It wasn't had nothing to do with me. That was just my situation, meaning her living in her own misery, steeped in her own deceit, and all that stuff would be it. For your narcissist, it's very similar. And yes, they'll groom new supply, and you're like, well, this seems like their life is going by. But the beautiful thing about it is once you heal, so does yours. And you move into new relationships and you feel more secure. And you get secure first within yourself before anything else comes up to you. But don't let someone triangulate you. It's their favorite thing to do and try to make you the third party and then offer you the sweet, sweet deal for the low, low price of fuckery. It is absolutely unacceptable, but it is something that they will inevitably try to do. So whether that is in a, let's say it's a family and it's two of your favorite cousins, and you and the cousin used to be tight, and now they're friends with someone else in the family, and they're offering you a seat on the side. Absolutely not. You know, I'm thinking of those motorcycles with the car seat, with the side seat, side saddle. You're not riding side saddles for anybody. If it's you and a lover, and then they're saying we're very specifically, like my client, we're going to offer you this thing to you. No, because what they want to do is further humiliate you. That's the purpose of that. Also, they're wildly brazen and entitled, and they really think that this is like something that you want. The person that said to me, I'm just doing this to be nice to you. I didn't recognize that person. She turned into a whole shape shifting monster to me. And I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It was funny. It was also alarming, but it woke me up. And sometimes you need to know that. So your narcissist will eventually try to make you the third party and make it seem like you are the thing that they are doing a favor, paying a favor to, and they're telling the supply that as well. I really don't want anything to do with her, but I just, I'm just going to pass her this little crumb. Breadcrumbing, that's where that comes from. So, anyway, guys, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I won't stay too long here. Don't allow the narcissist to make you the third party. They will inevitably always try to do it because they get off on having people fighting over them, and that's their jam. They have no self esteem that they generate from within. So, validation of outside sources, clamoring is their favorite thing. I got to observe that in my situation. Unfortunately, because I was not sexually plugged into that person, I was able to really watch it like she was under a petri dish, and I was looking through a microscope. I really got to observe her behavior and write about it from an anthropological standpoint instead of the standpoint where my client that I worked with yesterday was at, which was being emotionally fully invested because that was her husband. It's a very normal place for her to be. I am not passing any judgment whatsoever. Trust me. But what I'm saying is, when you've been through narcissistic abuse maybe a couple of times, you start to notice these patterns that arise. And it never fails. Even with platonic friendships, triangulation has happened. When I've had a romantic narcissist, that same thing has happened. And that offer was proffered as well. Absolute balderdash, guys. You know how I feel about it. Do not let yourself be anybody's third party if you're not into that, if you're not healthily into polyamory. And you cannot do polyamory with a narcissist, okay? Because narcissists don't play fair, they don't play right, and whatever the case may be. If you're into one on one monogamy or one on one intimate friendships, meaning like your bestie, and you don't want to be triangulated, you could have multiple friends, guys. But if you have special relationships with people and you don't want them to be triangulated, then stand up for yourself. Be your own advocate, clear your throat chakra, use your words, and make yourself be heard. You will not be played with, okay, by anybody, and not even yourself, because it is a slippery slope that will definitely affect your mental health. All right, I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining me. Let me see if we have any questions real quick. All right. Thank you guys. Come back and join me next time, and we will continue to evolve together.